Carbohydrate are biomolecules consisting of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms, usually with a hydrogen-oxygen atom ratio of 2:1 with the empirical formula Cm, H2O, N, where M may or may not be different from N. Glucose, fructose, sucrose, starch, and glycogen are some examples of carbohydrates. Specifically, glucose and fructose are classified as monosaccharides, sucrose is classified as a disaccharide, and glycogen as a polysaccharide. Types of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be divided into two main types, simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are made up of just one or two sugar units, whereas complex carbohydrates are made up of many sugar units. Monosaccharides contain just one sugar unit and disaccharides contain just two sugar units, so they are called simple carbohydrates. But polysaccharides contain more than two sugar units and hence called complex carbohydrates. Glucose, fructose, and galactose are the examples of monosaccharides. Maltose is a combination of glucose and glucose, sucrose is a combination of glucose and fructose, and lactose is a combination of glucose and galactose. These maltose, sucrose, and lactose are the examples of disaccharides. Complex carbohydrates contain more than two sugar units. Starch, glycogen, and fibers are the examples of complex carbohydrates. Monosaccharides. Monosaccharide are those carbohydrates that cannot be hydrolyzed further to give simpler units of polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone. If a monosaccharide contains an aldehyde group, then it is called aldose, and on the other hand, if it contains a keto group, then it is called a ketose. Fructose, glucose, and galactose are the examples of monosaccharide. Disaccharides. Disaccharides are those carbohydrates that on hydrolysis with acids or enzymes give two molecules of monosaccharides which can either be the same or different. Maltose is a combination of glucose and glucose, sucrose is a combination of glucose and fructose, lactose is a combination of glucose and galactose. These maltose, sucrose, and lactose are the examples of disaccharides. Polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are long chains of carbohydrate molecules, composed of several smaller monosaccharides. Starch, glycogen, and cellulose are the examples of polysaccharides. Functions of carbohydrates. The major functions of carbohydrates are as follows. Carbohydrates help to create macromolecules. Carbohydrates also help in metabolism of lipids. Carbohydrates help in production of energy. Carbohydrates also help in energy storage. Carbohydrates help in protein sparing.